So, hello, welcome to the U-Turn, a platform that is empowering our communities through the power of storytelling, constructive dialogue, and guided actions to promote economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, and innovation within our community. So, my name is Akwal Philip, as always, and I'm joined today by two other co-hosts, Ala Kiriding and Achia Walia. Of course, we also joined by Mr. Cook, who is a great community champion and a leader of Now for Tomorrow. So, Mr. Cook, thanks for joining. And if you are new to this platform, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our page, and share this conversation so that it reach many people that may benefit from it. So, back to you, Mr. Cook. I don't want to take the shine away from you. I know you have been doing a lot of things for our community and also back home. So I just want you to kindly tell us a bit about yourself and this organization that you are working on called Now for Tomorrow. What is it all about and what motivated you to form this organization?
Thank you. Yes, as you mentioned, my name is John Cook, and I'm a medical doctor by profession and also uh, transition to public health and project management. Um, Now for Tomorrow is a result of a long journey, and it called Now for Tomorrow is South Sudanese Wellness Network. The reason for the name is that back in 2009, while working in South Sudan, or Sudan back then, with organization called Sudan Medical Care, I wanted to use that opportunity to create a charity here to support Sudan Medical Care, especially in Jonglei area. So I founded Sudan Canadian Medical Care. Then 10 years went by. When I returned in 2014, we continued to do support to Sudan Medical Care there. But we saw that there were a lot of needs here. So after brainstorming within members of the board of directors, we say, you know what, I think we should help our people here because they always came here for a future, especially when most of us back then, they talk about mustakbal or future. So we said, okay, let's do it. So in 2020, we concluded that project and we created Now for Tomorrow. And after finishing all the work with the government of Canada, incorporation and all that, then we become more active in 2022. So that's what Now for Tomorrow is. It's about making sure that our people are well settled here. They have a foundation from which they can support our people back home, because we know we still attach passionately to our people back home. So that's, in summary, what Now for Tomorrow is,
Thank you so much. You actually raised a very important point there. So before I pass it on to other cohorts, I just want to follow up on that motivation, like switching, the focus from supporting Sudan medical care or South Sudan medical care now to supporting people that came here to actually improve their lives. And it has been in our community that we live as if we'll go back to South Sudan. That come up a lot in some of our previous conversation. But I just want you to kind of step back and reflect more on that motivation to like switching the focus to supporting us here. Like what was your thought process doing that? Like what did you envision that Now for Tomorrow will do if you continue to do it for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yes, all through the communities that we have here outside, it's always a conversation. Say, well, we gonna go back home, okay, and that never happened. Like for me, I'm going to be 30 years here, okay? Even though I went and stayed in Sudan for 6 years, but if you count the time I set my foot here to date, I'm going to be 30 years in no time, in a couple of years or so. So that going back is never happening. So home is here, but we are never benefiting from our opportunities here. And our people are struggling, all ages, from children to grown up. So to break that cycle, we said, you know what, we need to settle here because we never settle. In our mind, we're still gonna go back home. We're gonna go back home, you know. So that's what what was behind. So when we brainstorm with the like-minded people, the co-founders of Now4Tomorrow, we said, it's now. Let's do it now, you know. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let's do it now. If not now, then there's no tomorrow. So we have to switch to focus for now. What a great U-turn. Alaki, you can take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think this is a concrete U-turn that John Cook and the team has done. First time I heard about it, I was blown away, and I was reminded of the potential of what we can do in community organizing, as a U-turn mission is to create that positive impact. Talking of impact, can you talk about the projects you've undertaken so far since the U-turn, from focusing back home to coming back to Canada, and what is the what have you seen change in the community since you've started those projects? Like, what is the impact like?
Yes,
sure,
definitely.
Sure people would want to hear that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, we started in 2020 to rebrand our self, and then in 2022, it's actually returning from South Sudan, you know, and it clicked to my mind. I had a conversation with some city manager, and we found that when I was expressing the needs and the program that I want to implement it, so we were able to table that program. We had traditional dances practice. We conceive a studio for a DJ training for our young people and to record the music. And then also we have basketball, and then we have cooking program. All this is a way of trying to make sure that we have something for each member of the community and to create a sense of identity and belonging. So we were fortunate. We succeeded in getting a small grant in 2023, and we were able to implement the traditional dance practices for a year. And then we also ran the studio, and the studio is actually where I am sitting here. And we have the DJ training here. We have a volunteer DJ in the community that train the young people. So that's the program. That the dancing and the studio, they stopped because we didn't have more money to run it. But hopefully we will resume that. But currently we are running what we call intergenerational project. So the cooking program where the young people can be paired up with adult, especially women. You know, in our culture, most men don't do the cooking. But now our young boys are included in that. They can see, and I have some small clips of that, but it would be for another day. So that one allow a interconnection between the grown-up and the young people so they can appreciate their roots through the cooking. And then another program is basketball practice. As we know, our South Sudanese are blessed with the potential. As you have seen, they reached the Olympic, and at least they made the American sweat anyway. And so we see that's that's a resource that we want to develop. And at the same time, we will prevent our young people from engaging in other negative activities. So those are the two programs that are currently running. And those programs, they will go for 4 years. We were fortunate to succeed for 4 years. It's called multi-year grant from the city. So those are the program. Yeah.
Thank you so much, John, and your team. You've done an amazing job at making sure the South Sudanese in the community in Canada have that solidified identity and can find community within culture, within their hobbies like DJing, like basketball, and cooking. Cooking does really bring us together, and we all can attest to it in this call. That it's really that mentorship opportunity for the young generation to learn and take forward the positive cultural elements to the next generation. I really like that. What are some challenges or opportunities have you encountered through this process? Take, for example, somebody want to replicate, and I'm assuming you're doing your programming in somewhere in Ontario. If somebody want to replicate in a different city, what piece of advice would you give them?
Yes. Yeah, I would encourage, especially members of our community, to wherever you are, you use your passion and use all the available resources to you, especially the people that are of goodwill that are around there, and let's do it, because there's a need. There's a vast need all over Canada and in diaspora, really. And so definitely I would encourage, and of course, we cannot reinvent the wheels. It's all about collaboration and partnership, and make sure that we use all the resources that are available. Yeah, it will take a teamwork, but it's all start with passion, and then you collaborate with those who want to help. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the challenges, of course, as you know, where we live here, we have a lot of competing needs for our time, especially family, work, paid work. So it's challenging to have volunteers to do this work. But at the same time, I see opportunity for us to network, and maybe what is ideal maybe is to, let's say if I were to see an ideal situation, we need about 2 or 3 more people to work with me. I have my board of directors, but at the end of the day, I'm the implementer. So ideally, if I have 2 more individuals that are paid, actually, then they will invest their time and knowledge, and they will not be distracted by other factors. So that's the challenge, but at the same time, it's opportunity. Like as we talk here, I think there's a lot of opportunity to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Love that. So if you are watching, you've had there's opportunity to work with John. We'll be sharing the profile for Now4Tomorrow in the comments. Please go and like and follow the page and support the amazing work that they're doing in the community. Which city exactly are you working? Are you implementing the programs? If anybody's out there want to volunteer, I would highly encourage them to reach out to you.
Yeah, we are in the city of London, Ontario, Canada.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then the people can reach us, through the website www.now and 4 and then tomorrow.org, and then they can even actually email us or even call, you know. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the information. If a chair or a Paul, would you want to ask some questions?
Um, Mr. Cook, thanks for joining this platform today. I am
Thank you.
happy that you joined.
Mhm.
And I really love the idea that your organization is focusing on problems that we faced here. Initially, when we started U-Turn, our visions and ideas were focusing on the issues people faced back home. But on the second thought, we sat down and it was not making sense to extend the hub when you have a big mess in your backyard. So we decided to, you know what, we're gonna start here where we are, and then after that the we can extend the hub outside. So I'm happy that you are focusing here.
Yeah.
Actually, in 2021, I attended one fundraising event that you organized, and it was well attended. And I think you are doing an amazing job. These
Mhm.
I like that. So I have a question today.
Mhm.
Give me 1 second.
So while Achia is handling that situation, I just want to just kind of reflect on the point of collaboration. So when you were talking about challenges and opportunities, and you pinpoint about this issue of collaboration and partnership for progress, and it's something that we really need to pay attention as South Sudanese in diaspora,
Mhm.
wherever we are, or even back home. When
Mhm.
it comes to community association, they define our identities, and those are the areas where our people like conglomerate, like we each and every clan, sub clan, families, they go through those small circles. But there is opportunity actually for this to come together, this organization. But when identity division interfere with progress, it then there's no progress. So I don't want to take the conversation away from now for tomorrow, but as even the word say now for tomorrow, it's acting together in collaboration, disregarding all the identities or unique challenges that separate us or put us against each other. So I just want you, if you have a second, to just kind of reflect, what is your vision of this collaboration? For example, in Canada, there are so many South Sudanese with non-profit organizations coming together and supporting each other, like U10 and Now for Tomorrow are doing. In the past, there hasn't been a platform that actually, spotlight this organization, but U10 is now going after which and every organization that can come and spotlight them. And what is your vision of this organization? Because here in West and in Canada in particular,
Mhm.
you are stronger when you come together. But if you come alone, you are not supported. So share that a little bit, and then Aisha will take over.
Yes. You see, like I mentioned earlier, we are not reinventing any wheel, but it all come down to have that spirit of goodwill. But also, to go to the partnership and collaboration, you have to come with the objective. What is it that you're trying to do? But when you know what you're trying to do, that's actually, you can collaborate better. If I go back, when I introduced myself, one part that I didn't mention is that my other work, I work actually as a planner for a francophone. Believe it or not, I speak French and I learn it here. And I become a francophone. Last Friday, I was in the middle of francophone and I'm a francophone. They have a term called francophile because those who love the French language. So there are so many organizations, but they have a francophone table. Okay. and the goal is to save the francophone. So if I was reflecting when I met with you, after I met with you, and I say, you know what, we are not going to reinvent the wheel. How about we learn from others? How are things are done? How about we bring all these organizations? Nobody can be canceled out. You know, nobody have a monopoly on knowledge or skills. But if we sit at the table and say, okay, we're gonna build a house. Okay, so there's some people that know how to do the bricklaying. Some people know how to design. Some people know how to do wiring. So that's the same thing with collaboration. If we know that we have failed in our approach of thinking we're gonna go back home, it's actually going back home. Start with settling well here, and to settle well here, we have to collaborate and to put aside some small identity is just subjective. You know, we now become example. If I take example of Canada, those of us who are here are Canadian, those in Australia are Australian, those in Canada, America are American, but they still are South Sudanese, or they belong to their local identity, their native aboriginal language and culture. So this now, there's a process of integration, teamwork, and collaboration. This is what in the word, inclusion. So I think we can do it, you know. So we could. When I met the U10 team, I said this is the beginning of good stuff, and because it's technically Now4Tomorrow is U10, okay? It's just a different name, but it's the same. So we find another organization that have the same purpose. Then we focus in service delivery, not the politics. Politics, anybody can talk about it, but delivering services is a different thing, and meeting the need of different age groups. So that's gonna be our focus, and if we focus on that, collaboration gonna be easier, Yeah. So that's what I can say in that regard. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Inclusion, that is the takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is not now, then when? Chiaf, I have many questions, but I will give you the platform. Thank you so much, Mr. for your response. Very inspiring.
Yeah, Chia was talking about the fundraiser. You see, that was the last fundraiser we had.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember it was 2021.
Yes.
It was well attended, and I loved it, and I thought this was going to grow, and it's still growing.
Yeah.
And given that, I understand that we have political issues that have affected our people and still persisting to affect us wherever we are. Talk about being in Kenya, Uganda, or Canada. Our people seem to be in sort of adapting every time. Do you think this constant adaptation is prolonging our, catching up with the growth compared to the other immigrants, such as, for example, Kenyans? And how can Now4Tomorrow shorten this adaptation period for South Sudanese so that we can catch up with other immigrants and compete in this country?
Yes. Yes, definitely. What you mentioned is very relevant in terms of how we settle here. Our immigration journey is it's a blessing in one hand, but it's also can be a challenge. Let's take one household. Like if I take my family, you will come see that in the same household you would find members of the same family and blood. Some of them speak Kiswahili, some of them speak Arabic, some of them French. You name it, whatever language, depending on where they pass through. Now, what do you think will happen in the communication in the house? So there will be short circuit of communication and understanding in the house. And therefore, it will complicate how each member of the household will adapt. the perception and the vision and how they see life is contaminated or is impacted by the journey. Because those who went to Kenya, they spent some time in Kenya. So language and way of life is being adapted. Then you come back to Canada, you restarting again. There's a whole kind of red line. Okay, things are not done like this, things are done like this here. And then, so definitely it is slowing us down. But the good news is if we talk about it, we recognize the differences, then we can make that as an asset, because now we will be rich in diversity within, and use it to kind of focus our attention in how to settle well, consolidate our resources, and then we can help back home better, you know. So that's so yes, it is slowing us down, but it's an opportunity actually to speed things up, because they would say, okay, if I say, sorry, if I say, Chair, okay, how things are done, it depends. Let's say you came through Kenya, how things are done in Kenya. How would you look at these particular things? I came through Cuba, you know, I left as a teenager, okay? I'm practically Latino, okay? But the Latino, they may not. They will be surprised when they come. If I don't open my mouth, they may think I'm just come from Africa yesterday. Then I open my mouth, then they are in a shock. I say, okay, you know. So there's a way of doing things. And even the way things are done in Cuba, when I came here, it was different. I don't know if you guys know, back home, there was an expression, some group that went bad, that's called normal, okay? You see how the perception of culture. So greeting back in Cuba is greeting on the cheek. You kiss on the cheek. So some of us who transformed, they went back home and they're greeting on the cheek. And then the people will say, what? And then they say, no, it's normal, okay? You see how the cultural impact on these people. So those of boys and girls that left from Cuba and went back to South Sudan, or Sudan back then, actually. And our people are very conservative. The greeting is totally different, how you greet people, you know, between girls and boys. So if you come, you kiss on the cheek, they say, what? Okay. So, but then if people sit down and say, okay, let's look at it. Is it okay where you came from? Then you tell them, you know, it's not okay here. So you may have to readapt again, you see. So those are the things, and it's happening in whatever host community we come in, you know. So, but as we speak, I think it's a good news that we know that there are differences, but we can capitalize on making it an asset.
All right, thank you so much, Cook. That was well answered. I still have a little bit of a question that I want to ask. Is a little bit hard? I want to further prolong this question. I want to bring it in terms of economic perspective. We all understand, that the constant political issues happening in South Sudan tend to delay our progress wherever we are and all this. And I understand that your organization for tomorrow have initiative in place to help our people cope. Is there any specific initiative that you have put in place to help people cope with such situation, coping with economics, issues? Like,
Yes.
is there any specific, let's say, program that you set aside to teach people or to help people here to catch up economically?
Yes. I would say not a specific program that would gear to economically, but the byproduct, you know, the outcome. Because first is we're trying to build that trust and the sense of identity and belonging together. So we can look at the big picture to say, okay, what are the things that are affecting us? As you brought up the situation back home, it's affecting every Sudanese or South Sudanese, and in a big way. Even without the current situation, even back when things were a little bit better, there's this, apart from our needs here, there's a big pressure back home because it is perceived that we are in a better place, in a well-developed nation that we are in. It doesn't matter where we are globally. People expect that we are doing well, and that created a lot of hardship. And we live in capitalism. That's a reality. And in a capitalism, you deal with your bills, you know. So having Now4Tomorrow is actually to kind of let us focus on us here, to build a foundation, because it will create a foundation, because families are struggling, their kids are not succeeding at schools, and some of them will grow up to be adults that are not able to cater for themselves, and still the family is still here, still just taking care of them. So in order to get a meaningful job, we have to have an organized entity that create programming, and that's where your economic orientation and awareness will come in. And especially now with this networking that we have with U10, we could now say, okay, as members of this table, who is gifted with what? Okay, I may be gifted to talk. Some others are good with numbers. Some others are good with coding and programming behind the scene. So we use all these resources and say, okay, to orient our people, what are employable careers that you should take? And how do you manage your finances? How much do you give back home, and how much do you pay for your bills so you don't get in your debt, deep in debt? A lot of us are deep in debt. So yes, I don't have any program per se, but I think our conversation is the beginning of a good work, you know. So we could put something in place, you know, together. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I love that. I love that. Sometimes we take mentorship for granted, and I think that's where everything begins, and that's where U-Turn and your organization comes in. And if our people can really pay attention, I think we will go far away. So I will let my colleagues take it from here. I have a few questions, but I will let them take it for now.
And
Yeah.
before you go, I want to add, to advise our people that please minimize getting so immersed in the politics back home, because they understand how they play their game there. We don't understand it.
Yeah.
And the same thing, even if I go from Ontario, where I am, things are done differently in Newfoundland, okay, in Nova Scotia, and it is Canada. So to busy ourselves with politics back home is not actually helping people back home, you know. But if we focus, I consider that we came for a mission. If God brought us here, it's actually we came for a mission. And that mission has threefold, you know. We benefit ourselves individually as the messengers of that mission, but also you benefit the host country and benefit our people back home, you see. So now we have to strike a balance and try to ignore what goes back home. Not ignore completely, but be mindful of how you manage it. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to add in terms of that.
Okay, thank you. Well, I can see you have questions, so I'm going to let you take.
No, yeah, no, I'm to talk to Irene. Like, I just want to rush in. What Mr. Cook just said, thank you for it. But I'm sorry to put in Dinka language, because when we say we are focusing here, some of our children or our youth, whom we really want to reach out and empower, need to hear this conversation, because when they start hearing us, that we parents or we that came here as adults are actually thinking about the tomorrow, they will start being hopeful. And I remember when I was growing up in refugee camp in Kakuma, there used to be this phrase that we South Sudanese, we are like Israel. Why Mitkepan Israel, right? Like what with the people could watch where pinom, and that what could be pinom like those conversations I can internalize that we will be very powerful, like Chimane Israelites. Why blessed nation? And I grew up with that mindset. But how can we actually achieve that if we come to this abundance or place where there are opportunities for growth, and then we come now and be consumed by politics back home? I was actually reading or been following Israel, what they have achieved, and one of the things that they do here and here in Canada, across the world, we don't go get this place, is that they are close knit community. They make sure they collaborate, like they love each other. They refer resources within them. Like where I hospital, like chicken capture, university law and think chicken capture, like they are. And I was speaking with my husband yesterday, and billionaires of I or Israelites. We're talking about big boys, Jeff Bezos. We're talking about Elon Musk. We're talking about Bill Gates. When I went to Israelites, well, South Sudanese, we could be like that. We like we could focus on opportunities and building ourselves instead of breaking ourselves down. We can really be that, and it is through collaboration. And you mentioned something that is very important. You said that, being scattered across the world, come with curse, but also with blessings. So now we have understanding of how all the communities are connected to how they are. We know how Cubans do these things, like the positive, positive from them, how they organize themselves. We know how Kenyans do, and we have contact. So, for example, if we want to collaborate and want to extend our reach, we can reach out to other communities. Like what I have my colleague Kenyan who are doing very well. I can connect my mentor to a lab and a intern thing. That is a connection, because I'm Kenyan. Well, then I could leverage that. We can leverage our connection with Uganda. We can leverage our connection with Cuba. We can leverage our connection with Egyptian. We can leverage now our connection with Kawajat, where we're here to access resources for our community to look at back. So this is really, really empowering. And I just want to take a moment and reflect what that means for now, for tomorrow, and for the youth. And if people that are watching this conversation, if you find this conversation inspiring, please let us know your thought in the comment and share this conversation to reach more people. This is how we should actually start thinking about economic empowerment for our people, because in a real, when you are economically empowered, you can talking is nothing, but action delivers. So just want to give this opportunity back to you before I ask questions. Is there any thought, Benny, while I was talking?
Yes. The example you put about the Israelite is, well, they at the beginning they had challenges. They got scattered, right?
Yeah.
And the similarities with many immigrants, but in our case, in particular, when the right time arrive and we come and sit at the table and say, okay, what is it that we want? Because they have their own diversity within, and also you do things quietly. I'm puzzled by the new trend. Let's say, we get a lot of life. What culture is that? What happened to the culture that we used to have If I have misunderstanding with you, I go to you. You know what I say? You know, Paul, something is bothering me here, and I want clarification from you. You know, that's how things were done when we were kids, and then people focus on the right thing. And so what happened with them is they don't act on emotions, because when you are emotional, you will actually can harm yourself because you are high in adrenaline and you're going to act on that emotion. But if you calm down, in our tradition, parapin, concord, okay? Even some member of the the other communities, when we joke, and say, "What happened to your concord, man? You know, you guys, your concord that works is good. They appreciate that concord." So, and then if we control our lips and do more and cook things in in a quiet manner, and other people are there to collaborate with you. People are, people want a peaceful coexistence. They want collaboration. And people want goodness. So if you come with goodness and goodwill, actually people will push you up. I actually grew up. I enrich my culture outside of my own. As I mentioned earlier, I become francophone. Okay. And when I'm among the francophone, I'm francophone and I speak French. They talk about la fierté francophone. Okay. So they have the francophone pride. Okay. So we should be proud South Sudanese, appreciate our differences. And that's why we had an event that we failed to have everybody, but because we limited the space. But in July 20, we were celebrating South Sudan independence and Canada Day. And we had 4 traditional dances. People were celebrating. All of us were dancing them. We had Shuluk, we had Nuer, we had the Dinka, different Dinka dances from Agar and Bor. And I wanted more, but at least at that moment, those are the 4 groups that came forward. And people enjoy the night. So if we appreciate our differences and we do things that matter quietly without too much noise, then people of goodwill that want to support us will support us. So that's what I can say. And the success comes in that, delivering services, and collaborating, that's all, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I will give it to Alakir, but it's really empowering, when, they say money doesn't like noise. So it's poverty that like that thing. So thanks for actually reinforcing that thing in my head. It really makes a lot of sense that we should fight quietly and respectfully and use, what our parent and great parents used to do. They didn't use to threaten each other to go public. People used to say concord that philosophy. It's in history of South Sudan. Concord, Mal, Wairope. Those are words that we used to hear growing up. So thanks for bringing them up, and those are the intergenerational training that we need to do. Just connecting it to the work that you are doing about intergenerational cooking. We also need to have intergenerational, dialogue on social issues, right? And those things happen when we come together and chat out our future, like sit down now and plan tomorrow, right? So if we don't come together to have a table where we, discuss our issues, channel our resources and energy, then there's nowhere we can grow. And the UTEN is working right now on mentorship program. And this is opportunities to collaborate and call others that are also thinking the same way, sit on the table and do that. So my question is about that intergenerational. I usually think from an entrepreneurship and economic empowerment perspective. Like if there is cooking, have you thought of ideas of how do you use that food? You just cook teach people to cook and eat, or are you even planning to sell it? Because when we, I'm imagining we have like a place where our indigenous food or our South Sudanese, you know, food can come into mainstream like Anjera. If you go everywhere right now in Ottawa, there's Anjera cuisine. From my place of work, and I know where do we go for a work party? I just recommend Africa, Ethiopia. I am envisioning where a South Sudanese could be also a destination for such thing too, to open up our what we are good at, to open it up to the world. I know basketball is a great thing. So, what are your economic ideas to turning this from non-profit to profit? Because we have been very active in non-profit, but if there is a way we can transform that, work to sustainability, that is my area of thinking.
Yeah.
And what advice would you also give others who may be thinking how you can collaborate with them to bring this to conclusion?
Yes, definitely. The ultimate goal of our project is actually it's a long-term dream. When I was writing into this project, the ultimate goal is how to project ourselves.
Yeah.
We have a lot to give, but there is a need for a platform to develop that and to build the confidence. But the ultimate goal is to actually empower the women that know how to cook a tasty food. Whenever there's a South Sudanese event, a lot of non-South Sudanese come. A lot of them come and eat. Yeah. Right now, they look forward to, excuse me. They look forward to our cooking. Like certain day, we started with a cook, for example. And when they were cooked, now they look forward. They say, when is the cooking coming? Because one day we missed to cook, because now they know. So the ultimate goal is to change that, to make sure that we empower, and that's where you guys gonna come in. Use your marketing, use your entrepreneurship skills, and actually, the business plan is easy to make, but it will come down to the money, how you finance it. So when we reach that stage, definitely the ultimate goal is actually that we not only we cooking and eat, but actually we develop our menu. So if we're doing a cook with rice or what a cook with ring and vegetable, what goes in? Okay. Now then we know the menu, because economically you have to know how much products you put into that in order to get the profit. But yes, the ultimate goal is we need to actually, there's a lot of our women that are sitting at home doing nothing, but they are gifted. So we can change that gift into to profit. So definitely something that we can work on, either through social enterprise or actual enterprise, and it will not take long. So we're gonna get that conversation going. It's definitely a dream that I've been entertaining for a long time. So.
Yeah, no, thank you, Lati. Take it away.
Yeah. As someone who studied marketing, I'm always excited about the money side of things. That we have a lot of knowledge and a lot of skill, a lot of resources, and somebody would start and say, "Oh, if I haven't gone to school, I have nothing to bring to the market." We are in the culture of capitalism. We're in the culture of commercializing whatever you can bring to the market. And a few things come to mind. Like you mentioned, selling a menu for a cook. And a lot of people who explore different food and different culture. I was watching YouTube the other day. Somebody is trying to make food from every country around the world. So they go and pick one menu and then they make it and they showcase it. That is their content business model.
Mm-hmm.
And to empower people is to bring to light what they already have. It's not to
Yeah.
point out you don't have this, you don't have that. The limiting mindset is already there. But if we come out,
Mm-hmm.
say a woman is a housewife, if she cooks every day, she might see that she doesn't have skill to bring to the market. But I had an opportunity to visit my cousin in 2019 in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
She's a mother. She was in school. She has peers from back home. For somebody who doesn't know, young men in a traditional household in our culture don't really cook that much. And
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you are in Canada and you have to cook for yourself. So she was baking kesara and a cook and and delivering it to them, or they meet at school and do transaction. She sell the a yacht and also
Mm-hmm.
a cook.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have a lot of potential we bring to the Canadian economy, and we have that opportunity to meaningfully engage women
Mm-hmm.
in economic ways, in in a ways that they can also participate in their household to bring in income. Mileage, if somebody is already too overworked, we are not pushing for that. But anybody who has an idea of it, been thinking, oh, how can I really
Mm-hmm.
do something for myself? Women like nice things. How can I buy nice clothes? Sell sell two container over yacht during the weekend when your partner is not at work, is taking
Mm-hmm.
care of children. That's one way to commercialize
Mm-hmm.
that experience you have as somebody who know how to cook a yacht.
Yes.
Um, the other business model, I mean, community kitchen. There's kitchens where you go cook food and then you deliver it virtually. There's all kinds of technology for delivery where people order food and then it get delivered. There's no physical restaurant for it because the logistics of that are very capital intensive for around people who are starting out cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited that we are thinking in that way, and we are thinking of making people aware that yes, you can
Yes.
rely on somebody for a need, and or you can rely on yourself, and relying on yourself is more sustainable, and
Mm-hmm.
it's even for greater positive impact where you live, and for your family. I go aluim I meet kujam kabelo walayan. I know how to make money. Look at me doing this ABCD. There's no better experience than learning from. There's no better learning than learning from your own lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really appreciate that project, and I've been inspired ever since. And thinking of,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how can I commercialize what I haven't thought about already as something I can bring to the market
Yeah.
in the community. So yeah, just a reflection. I don't have specific questions. If you have any idea coming up, I know Paul would usually finish with what is your U-turn advice, but I'll leave it for her.
Yeah. I just wanted to. I just share in the. I don't know if you guys seen it, but you could see how beautiful that product there um, in the U10 WhatsApp. I just sent the photo of the one of the session of the product there,
Oh, okay.
and that alone by itself is a dish. You take away, like you can pack and put a monetary value to it. So that's an example of the resources that we have. Uh, we don't have to invent the wheel. It's just a matter of going to grocery store and getting the groceries and make the food and sell it. People are willing to experiment with new food, and this is our opportunity. So we, we will work on it. You guys at the U10 can help, and I'm already identified those volunteer women. I'm trying to kind of tap them into transitioning them from the house to serving the community, the intergenerational project to the market. So that's a plan.
Okay, Mr. Cook, I'm going to jump in. Um, I just remember something, and I think it's something that was supposed to be core of this conversation, and
Mhm.
it's about our children in the street. I have been to London. I've lived there for like 2 weeks, and I've lived in Windsor, Ontario, and finally I moved to BC. And hear and observe things. Our children are on street, dying on street because of drugs, depression,
Mhm.
and I think with your expertise, we could all agree that part of it, part of the reason why our children are taking drugs is because of depression, and depression could be caused by those problems that we had discussed before, maybe meeting expectation here, peer
Mhm.
pressure, and our social setting, right? So, what do you think we could do as partners
Mhm.
to help our community in educating them that there is mental health issues
Mhm.
and that we should not, we should not stigmatize these people. Uh, and then what is another initiative that you are working on? I remember last time when we attended your organization fundraising. I think the fundraising was to medical supplies back home and stuff like that.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
have you ever thought of maybe, doing something here
Mhm.
so that we can, bring our children back from the street? And with your
Yes.
knowledge, what can you tell people out there or us here that do not know much about mental health and depression?
Yeah. That exactly the whole purpose of Now for Tomorrow, and the same of U10 is that let's create a foundation where all age group are appreciated. You know, and as you mentioned, the last fundraiser, because that was the last one, we had decided to conclude, but send the support and let people know that we reshift our focus. So this programming that I talked about earlier, the intergenerational projects, the basketball, we have volleyball, um, the studio. It's a matter of the whole purpose is to create an engagement environment. Always create the neutral space that is other than home for people to come comfortable, come and exchange, you know, and break down the barriers. Also, recently, actually, we formed a parents group uh, in London here. We call it South Sudanese Parents of Southwestern Ontario. And it is because of that, to say, okay, what can we do to the little one and what can we do to those who are already in trouble? So there are projects coming. I'm not going to go ahead in details, but because there are certain things that within the limit. But once things come to surface, yes, we are thinking about our young people in terms of how do we interact with the justice system. And that's what you mentioned in terms of our kids in the street. Sometimes it's misunderstanding. We lost many kids. We saw how a couple of kids close to us uh, that got shot by the police. We saw it live, you know, from different communities of South Sudan. And it is because of that. So if we shift our focus, that we understand our situation, we understand that the expectation that we put on the young people have to be supported also with the programming. So it is like when you go to school, there's a what's called rubric. They expect you to achieve this and this, but you are supported with the guidance. Your professors show you what need to be done, what book you need to read in order to meet that expectation in the rubric. So we have to have the same perspective. The parents should not be only hard on the children, but it should also, when they set the bar high, they have to have a support behind that, you know, support them so they can achieve that goal they are trying to achieve. So I think we are in the same page. So as we go along in this conversation, we will devise projects that will address the need of different age groups. Even our grown-up, those who came still with the nostalgia of going back home, they actually need a networking space where actually they bring things out of their chest, you know, because not only young people died of depression and wrongfully in the street, but some people died alone also, the grown-up, because now they don't know how to adapt. So when we create that support network, then we will achieve the goal for everyone. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I love the idea of parent group because sometimes we adults are the reason why our children are the way they are. And most of the time we tend to just blame the children and not knowing that whatever we are doing is the reason why they are heading there. I was talking to one of my friends. She came here when she was a very little girl, and she was telling me some things, and those things might have led to whatever that is happening in her life, you know. And it's hard to, you know, to tell your parents that things things are not done here the way you are. I'm doing this because our parents have a lot of expectation on us, and those expectations, when they meet reality, you tend to be like, just lose it all. And I hope that the parents that are out there would be gentle with their children and try to, you know, go out there and seek help, to seek therapy, because we have generational trauma. Our parents do, and that one they passed it on us. And sometimes they think they are okay, but they are not. So if you are out there, you are in this country, there's help out there. Get out there so that you can raise your children with in a peaceful environment and space. And that's what I would say. I would leave it to a call to ask for the U-turn advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Achia, for raising this very important, and what a great way to transition to the last U-turn advice. My takeaway from that is that, you know, it's that too. Like, we need parents to heal so that the children heal, and that is the work that Now for Tomorrow is doing. So if you are listening to this program, you need to go. We will share the link to the Now for Tomorrow website so that you can go and see the vision, the values, and how to get involved and how you can support this work. Because what I'm seeing, this work, if it is replicated across Canada, to US, to Australia, I think will build a very strong family and community. Because when family is strong, the community is strong, and the country is strong. Whether here or back home, our contribution will be felt. So if it is not now, then when? And so the conversation is now so that tomorrow is brighter. And I just like the name. There is something in that name that says that this urgency in, you know, how we can approach this. And I really like having spaces for parents. A lot of people, even myself, I had to seek therapy when I was student, going to just transitioning. Culture shock was really real. And I came from high school to university, and that's more transition from Kenya to Canada, almost, you know, overwhelming. And so everyone is having challenges. And so I just want us to conclude, because we are at the top of hour. We usually give our guests at least 2 to 5 minutes to share their U-turn advice like summarize, what you have said, and tell us the future. What U-turn do you see, happening in our community, and how can we make that happen through the work that you are doing, and inspiring others to join the momentum for impact?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. The U-turn that we made at Now for Tomorrow is about recognizing that we came here just to come to the new country with the new way of life and how system work is hard by itself. But with the collaboration and working with the people of goodwill that are not from your community, then it's possible to make a difference and actually to settle well here. But the key is to be flexible, because not to be so attached to back home, because if you made it this far to this new country or new community, it means you are blessed with something, and therefore work with others. It's going to be hard to achieve your goals and purpose of being here, but it's going to take teamwork and perseverance in order for us to be a positive contributors and also benefiting from the opportunities here. So that's what I can say. Let's work together, be flexible, and we all want the same thing. We want goodness. We want to settle and support ourselves and our families and the community. So that's what I can say.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you just joined the conversation, we were talking about Now4Tomorrow, an organization that is based in Canada that is empowering our communities through intergenerational training, focusing on youth and also the parents and grandparents. They have programs that you can find them in the link that we will share in the comment sections. Please, if you find this conversation enriching, comment, share it with others. And this is the beginning of the series about the future of communities in diaspora. So this is just the start of the conversation, and just watch out for more conversation like this. Thanks for tuning in to the U-turn, and we believe this momentum is going to make a big impact. So make a U-turn with us. Bye. Thank you, Mr. Cook, for this excellent conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great opportunity. And